Houses of the Horoscope, created, directed, and presented by Reverend Dr. Dickie Joe Mullen. In this discussion, Dr. Mullen will look at each house of the zodiac and talk about how it may influence your natal chart.
This is astrologer Dickie Joe Mullen with some thoughts about the houses in your horoscope. When you look at an astrology chart, does it look like a pizza to you? Whenever I teach astrology, at least one person in the class has to refer to it as a pizza. That used to make me mad, but now I've decided I kind of like it because it does. The different pieces of the pizza are actually areas in the heavens. And if you think about how the sun looks at sunrise as opposed to noon and sunset, it's really the earth turning on its axis, and the sun is, from our vantage point, moving through the different houses. The 12 houses represent areas of life, and anything in your world can be found somewhere in the birth chart, but sometimes you have to turn the wheel to find it. In looking at a list of the meanings of the houses, suppose you want to find out about your aunt's missing cat. Believe it or not, without having the horoscope of your aunt or the cat, you can still find that among many other things in the birth chart of your own birth chart, your own horoscope. The process is simple. Just begin with your own natal chart and look to see what describes the situation. Suppose a call comes in with the missing kitty, and you think about what a cat represents in a horoscope. It's going to be house number 6. Now, your aunt is your father's sister, and the father is the 4th house of the chart. Count ahead, counting the 4th house as number 1, and siblings would be 3. So you start with 1, 2, 3. Your aunt, his aunt, the aunt, or your father's sister is the 6th house of your birth chart. And then animals in general are ruled by the 6th house. So we go the 6th from the 6th. Go to the 6th house, count ahead with 6 as number 1. That takes you to the 11th house of your own birth chart for details about your aunt's missing cat, whether the cat will come back, what's going to happen, natal planets, and then you look at the transits where the planets are now, and you can put together with just a very little bit of basic astrology all sorts of information. Let's turn the wheel and try again. Suppose your mother wants to go on a long foreign journey, and she doesn't want to give you her birth date. That happens, believe it or not, but she still wants to know if she's going to do well. Well, you look at the 9th house in your own birth chart as foreign travel, but mom is the 10th house. So go to your 10th house and count ahead 9 houses. That takes her journey. Oh, let's send her somewhere not too dangerous. How about Portugal? That's a good place to go. And suppose she wants to know if she's going, since you're such a great astrologer, if she's going to make it home from Portugal and have a good time, but she doesn't want to reveal her actual birth year. She's hidden it for her whole life. Well, many astrologers will say you really can't figure out anything without an accurate horoscope, but actually there is this caveat to get around it. So again, the mother is the 10th house, and you know that the 9th house is a distant journey. Begin with your own birth chart. House number 10 is 1. House number 11 is 2. By the time you get around to house number 9, mom's foreign journey is your 6th house. Now, suppose you have a friend who's lost a telephone. What do you suppose telephones are ruled by? The 3rd house of communication. And the friend calls up and you don't have his natal birth chart and don't have the means to do it, but you do have your chart. And help me, where is my phone? Well, you want to think of what friends represent. Now, this isn't romance, but this would be pals, male or female. That's your 11th house. Find the 11th house, and you want to count ahead 3 houses. 11 is 1, 12 is 2. Your first house would be your friend's telephone. And if you look at your birth chart, the transits, what's going on there, you can get an idea of what's going on. Romance is a popular topic to share with our friends. Suppose you have a call from a friend who, oh my, I've met the perfect special someone. I want to know, what do you think? Is this going to work out? Oh my goodness. Well, what you want to do, and the friend also doesn't want to give out his or her birth data, but they want your input. Find out the romance of the friend would be the 5th house from your 11th. The 5th house is love and romance. And again, in an earlier video, we've gone through the basic qualities of each house. And also in my books, my astrological books, which are available through my website, Skymead and Musings, you can find more basic information about the qualities of the houses. And so the friend is the 11th house again. Romance is the 5th. Counting the 5th from the 11th, that's going to be your 3rd house. Turning the wheel again, suppose you want to find out about your brother's car. Suppose, oh goodness, the brother's car has met with some damage in a parking lot, a hit and run, not anything too serious. We want to be cheerful here in our videos, and it's minor, but he'd like to know if he's going to get any insurance money, if any surveillance video found the culprit, and you don't have his full birth chart. Suppose his birth time has been lost, whatever. You want to find your brother is going to be your 3rd house, and then cars or transportation would be the 3rd house. So go to your 3rd house for your brother and count ahead 1, 2, 3. The 3rd house is 1, 4th house is 2. Your 5th house would be your brother's car. So look at that in your birth chart, and you can give him some comfort, or at least give him a little bit of insight and thoughts there. Well, suppose your sister wants to know about her marriage, another popular topic, and you also don't have her birth chart handy. Well, the 7th house represents marriage. The 3rd house would also be your sister. 3rd house is siblings. And so you want to think of the 7th house from your 3rd house. Beginning with number 3 is 1, and remember there's 12 houses in the horoscope. Then we start over again with number 1. You're counting to the 9th house. The 7th house from your 3rd is the 9th house. Your sister's marriage will be your 9th house. Let's do something a little bit more dramatic. How about a friend of yours was in the wrong place at the wrong time and ended up with a jail term, and sends you a message from jail and wants to know, what can you tell me? You also don't have access to that chart, but you want to know about a jail term of a friend. Jails and hospitals, any type of confinement, is the 12th house, and a friend again would be the 11th. So you want to find your 12th house and then count ahead 11 houses, counting ahead a house at a time. That's going to take you to your 10th house. We'll tell you what's going on as far as whether your friend will be able to get bonded out or whatever might be going on there. The hospital stay of an uncle. The hospital is also a 12th house. And remember, aunts and uncles are the 6th house. So the 12th house from the 6th is going to take you to the 5th house. This might sound a little complicated, but it's actually very easy. With just a little bit of practice, think about what rules each house, where that person is, count ahead a bit, And before you know it, just by looking at your own birth chart, you'll be getting all sorts of questions and phone calls because of how accurate this can really be without having to even have all the different charts in front of you. This is kind of getting into intermediate astrology. It's a little bit more advanced than most of the topics that we look at, but it's something that can be easily perfected. And I have some other examples of this on my website, Sky Maiden Musings, if you'd like to take a look. And occasionally on my daily posts on Facebook, this topic will come up. And each day there are little things about astrology posted on the website or on Facebook, all designed to help you to use the science of the stars to cope with these times of personal and planetary change. This is astrologer Dickie Jo Mullen in Orlando, Florida.